Raila and Ruto's popularity among the youths is really dwindling, and I can see Uhuru Kenyatta joining the camp after Ruto visited him in Shaweri. And youths are claiming that they really loved Raila. They've read history, how Raila fought for the democratic space in this country, how he was detained. But they're saying, yes, they cannot take away that from him. But during the protest, they feel Raila betrayed them. Raila has since claimed that it is Gachagua who wanted to interfere with Ruto's government, and so because he loves peace, he decided to save the country. I don't know how true that is. For William Ruto, he really promised Gen Zs quite a lot when he was campaigning in 2022. And when he got to power, he forgot everything about them. Even in terms of appointments, he decided to recycle the older generation who have been in power, who have held positions. And he was in charge when the police killed, maimed, and kidnapped many of them, university students and many of them during the protest. For Uhuru Kenyatta, they feel he has always been very quiet, but after that opaque handshake, we are now told that Ruto had to send some goats, maybe to compensate for the sheep that it's believed some leaders from Mount Kenya sent goons to steal. So with that handshake, they feel the dynasty is now ganging up, reuniting against youths. So someone sent me this song that was meant to castigate Raila and Ruto, and youths are calling them MSALITI. And then we're also going to see how they are warning Kenyans, and they're saying tuchukue kitambulisho because we have one agenda come 2027 to ensure that we vote out William Samoei Ruto. Kindly take a look.
Wewe unakutana na Uhuru Kenyatta umeingiza box. Wewe unataka kuuza Kenya nyinyi? Mzee wewe, alafu cheki mayutman, tusitumike na wanasiasa 2027. Hawa wazee wote unaona wawili waende nyumbani. Wewe
Now Kenyans are divided. There are people who still believe that the only figure that can be associated with fighting the government, fighting against corruption, fighting against division is Raila Amolo Odinga. But going by the events, how things transpired after Gen Z's protest, I believe, if we have to be honest enough, he has lost that cloud. And I want you to listen to these Kenyans honestly trying to explain why Raila no longer has that cape of a freedom fighter, why William Ruto must be rejected, and tell me whether you agree with them.
Vile munaniona hapa, munafikiria sijatishwa na Subaru? Ama vile munaniona hapa, munafikiria sijapewa pesa na hii serikali? In the millions, which before God and man I can swear I have not accepted. I was in Azimio. I will say on this show without fear, I cannot follow Baba anymore. I can't. Because when we were saying no to this administration, he joined the same administration. I have profound respect for him, for what he has done in terms of fighting for constitutionalism in this country. That will never be taken away from him. But leading us into Ruto's hands, I cannot go. And telling us that I'm an amphibian, tumepeana nusu ya ODM, tuko serikali, nusu atuko. What kind of nonsense is that? You cannot be a frog. You cannot be an amphibian. You cannot be in water and on land. You have to choose. And I have chosen to stay out. I've chosen to be broke. I've chosen to be without money. I have chosen to be a living sacrifice for my country.
Mimi ni mwenye furaha sana asubuhi ya leo. Wewe President Ruto, tulikuambia ya kwamba hauwezi kuendesha hii gari inayoitwa Kenya. Ulisema uko na plan, una ujuzi, wewe hauwezi kuendesha Kenya. Kitu unaweza kuendesha ni wheelbarrow. Na ulipokuwa unafanya launching ya chama chako cha UDA, wewe haukuendesha wheelbarrow. Ulitafuta watu, ukawatumia vibaya, wakakubeba, hiyo clip iko, ukaenda ukiimba ukiwa kwa wheelbarrow, na Wakenya wakademonstrate. Wacha nikuambie, kile unachofanya kina maana yake kiroho. Wheelbarrow hakuna mahali ingeenda bila kusukumwa. Sasa unajua watu walifanya nini? Wewe ulibaki umekalia wheelbarrow, na Wakenya wakaiacha hapo, sijui ni stage gani, na wakaondoka. Kwa sababu wao walienda ukafuruga gari ambalo lilikuwa likienda vizuri, lilikuwa limebeba Wakenya, na ukafukuza driver wake Uhuru Kenyatta, ukafukuza deputy wake, ukafukuza mwenzake Raila Odinga, na wewe ukasema una plan. Wewe ukachukua gari, hata hukumuuliza cut off iko wapi kwa sababu ya kiburi. Sasa gari limekwama, hakuna mahali linaenda. Unajaribu kwenda Kisumu, unagundua haliendi. Unajaribu kutoa makanga Ligathi, gari haiendi. Ukajaribu kuweka makanga mpya, sijui ya squad ya 300, ukagundua kwenda jaribu kutafuta. Sasa kazi yenu ni kuweka watu ndani. Hii gari watu walishuka kitambo, unajaribu kuweka watu ndani ati linaenda. Ni kama stage, unaingia gari kumbe haliendi. Wali watu wako ndani ni watu wa kupiga set. Wewe ulikaweka Oparanya ndani, ni set yamepiga. Na hata anatusi watu. Unaweka Joho ndani, apige set, ati watu wafikirie gari Mombasa linaenda. Haliendi. Anatukana watu, anafungua dirisha, anatusi watu huko nje. Watu hawezi kuingia gari iko na makanga kama hiyo. Kuna watu wengine kama Junet, unamweka huko Homa Bay, ati apige set, hiyo gari ibebe kutoka Homa Bay. Wajaruo hawaingii hiyo gari, Wakikuyu wameshuka wote. Hata ile msichana alikuwa anakuzungusha na wheelbarrow, sijui bado wako wapi. Mimi nadhani alishuka. Yule mama ulileta kama mama mboga ukamzungusha, ni mama mboga mmoja, unaenda naye Kakamega, ati mama mboga unaenda naye hata State House, hakuna, alishuka. Sasa tuliona gari imekwama, unajaribu kuleta ya ndani, gari ya yendi imekwama. Unajaribu kuleta sijui kina nani, imekwama, kina Ijungwa imekwama. Sasa jana tuliona umejiendesha, umejibeba na hiyo matatu, ukafuruliza mpaka Ishaweri. Mimi najua ulikuwa unaenda kuuliza mahali iko cut off. Wewe ulisukuma driver nje, na abiria pia wakashuka. Sasa wanaambia driver akuje arudi aendeshe gari yao. Fanya hivi, wewe shuka, zima gari, shuka, enda zako, hakuna watu watakufuata.
The first thing that we need to agree on is the fact that even if you are angry with Raila Amolo Odinga, you cannot take away the history of him trying to fight for this nation, fighting to get the new constitution They were there during the second liberation. People like Martha Karua was there, James Orengo. We had Paul Mwite was there. There were several leaders who fought to ensure that the one-party state was defeated. So that is one thing we need to agree, whether you like him or not. Number two, if you love Raila so much, we must also agree that the decision that he made based on his wisdom that he was going to help William Ruto did not go down well with many Kenyans because William Ruto's government has failed. Whichever way you look at it, William Ruto has fallen short of all the promises that he gave to Kenyans. That we must agree. And therefore, when Raila joined William Ruto, he lost the love that he had between himself and the youth. And I know those who still follow him are the people who have been told to umepatia serikali. You know, the ODM members who are leaders who are appointed to be in the government. Now, having agreed on this, if you look at what is happening across the country, you'll realize that people are boycotting Ruto's event. A good example was the Jamhuri. People don't want to listen to his speeches. Some are booing, some are heckling his members or Ruto himself. You know, if it was something that was happening maybe in one region alone, then you'd say that they are sponsored. But these are things that are spontaneous. They are happening all over the country. People are tired of William Ruto's regime because he lied to Kenyans. He promised a lot, but the promises are not coming forth. Then when you come to the democratic space that Raila says he fought for, people are being killed on the streets. He's not talking about it. When he led people to go for demonstrations during Azimio protests, people were killed. He has since kept mum. They are muted. They can no longer talk about it. And this is why when people see them together, we feel they have been compromised. When we see people like Junet and Joho threatening those who are questioning the government, then totally they have been compromised. They have been pocketed. They are now part and parcel of the government. From where I sit, I hold the opinion that Raila has got every right to join the government. However, once he has joined the government, there are two things he must not continue doing. You know, the ODM cannot continue telling us that they are in opposition, that they're not in government. That is a lie, a white lie that we can see. They have got every right to support Ruto, to join him, but they cannot have their cake and eat it, or eat it and have it at the same time. They are threatening people, telling us that we cannot question William Ruto. When William Ruto is insulting us that when you question him, you are stupid, the ODM brigade is also doing the same. And at the same time, they're telling us that they are not in government. Let them stay in government. They cannot pretend that one foot is in the government, the other one is not in the government. So once they have joined the government, let them be in the government. Number two, once they have joined the government, let them also take a fair share of the blame. Because they are in it. They are defending it. So they take all the mess. They take all the success. The other day, they were saying they don't agree with the Ruto's plan to vaccinate their cows. And I was wondering, I thought they were in government, they should be supporting this government fully. And ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto's relationship, just like I said, with the youths is one that is not cordial. In fact, the youths have got a day, they have got a date with William Ruto in 2027. If you listen to them, there's a lot of sensitization going on. They are saying, hawa watu lazima waende, the dynasty. They have to go home, and we are not going to listen to the de facto leaders, because you are not going to tell us that because someone has been appointed to be a government cabinet secretary, he's been appointed on behalf of us. No. Those people are only helping their families and their friends. So come 2027, youths are decided. The church is rebelling. The Mama Mbogas are rebelling. No one wants to associate himself or herself with this government. And so the songs are composed, they ignore. But the time will come, just like the biblical Pharaoh, who followed the Israelites deep into the waters, into the Red Sea. And that was their end. Let William Ruto do this deep into 2027. On election day, it will be a revolution just like 202, and you will not believe it. together with all the people who have supported William Ruto, they have become enemies of all Kenyans, of goodwill, because we are going to have only two forces. The forces of change that want to kick out this administration, and the forces of status quo, those who still want to wink at that Ruto is the best. Yet we can see a government full of corruption and wastage, a lot of campaigns and promises and dishonesty. And this is the reason why there are a lot of songs being composed, because youths don't have any faith in Ruto, in Raila, or any other leader who associates himself with William Ruto. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, but that is the reality on the ground.